right, I'm going to be honest. This is going to be a little tricky because you can't see my face because I want you to see the screen. What I need you to do right now is open the Cornell Notes document. There is a Word version, there is a PDF version, or you can create your own using the instructions on the assignment. You would just take a lined sheet of paper and you can really kind of format it as you go. We are going to be talking about Cornell Notes today. We're going to be doing a little meta Cornell Notes taking because we're taking notes about taking notes. Whoa, mind blown. What I need you to know, this is all about, like, the notes we are taking this week and next week are in regard to step 1 of the focused note-taking process, which is just taking the notes. So we are learning different formats to take notes in so that once you really get into the nitty-gritty of note-taking, you have options. So if you do not like Cornell Notes, you're not going to be forced to take them all year in every class, but you are going to be forced this week to take them just so I know that you have practice and you understand the basic premise. Okay, so the first thing I need you to do is write your essential question at the top of your, or I guess for some of you, type the essential question at the top of your Cornell note sheet. So today's topic is focused note-taking, and the essential question says, what are the 5 phases of note-taking, and how do I use each one effectively? So, like I said, we're going to be taking notes over notes. You can go ahead and put your name. You can put the class, which is Avid, and you can put today's date, which should be September 22nd, if I remember my days correctly. I'll give you a little time on this, but remember, if I go too fast, the beauty of me recording on a video is that you can just stop the video. So when we take our Cornell notes, we always want an essential question at the top. Sometimes you'll get lucky and your teacher is going to give you the essential question like I have done. Other times you're going to have to figure out that essential question on your own. Sorry. Right, I am going to move on to the next slide in just a few moments. If you are not using the pre-formulated Cornell notes, either the Word version or the PDF version, now is the time to go ahead and make space for your notes and questions. So you will see on the left side of the page you should have room for questions. You'll see on the right side you'll have room for notes. The notes section should be a bit larger than the questions section, okay? All right, we are going to begin our notes at this time. So in the notes section, I want you to write the 5 steps of focused note-taking.
Begin in the Counseling Center conference room in 5 minutes. The Counseling Center conference room in 5 minutes for Ms. Taylor's meeting. Thank you.
I'm sorry about that interruption, but I am going to keep going so that I don't have to re-record this. So you are writing down the 5 steps in focused note-taking. Now, when you take notes, remember that the notes are for you, which means that you can shorten them, abbreviate them in ways that make sense to you. So if I were taking these notes, I would just write FNT process because I know that FNT means focused note taking. So remember our 5 steps, taking the notes, which is largely what we're doing today. Process the notes, connect your thinking, summarize and reflect on your learning, and apply your learning.
Ms. Kessler's 2:30 meeting will be in the admin conference room. Ms. Kessler's 2:30 meeting will be in the admin conference room. Thank you.
Again, guys, I really apologize for these interruptions. How annoying. So we have some stuff in the notes section, but we do not have anything in the questions section at this time. So we need to figure out what a question might be for these notes. If you've ever seen Jeopardy, I want you to think about it like this. So you have the answer on the right side. You have your notes. Now you got to think about, well, what's the question? So I might write for my question over here something like, what are the 5 steps of the focused note-taking process, or the FNT process? So go ahead and write your question. Please note that you will likely have a lot of space in your question section because you might have, a question that takes up 2 lines, but your answer is going to take up 10 lines. So you will skip to the next portion after you've taken all your notes that answer that question for your next question, if that makes sense. I'm going to move on. So I have put in yellow the stuff that I would write down if I were you. I'm not going to force you to write down every single thing that I have, but that's what I would suggest. Now, again, you can abbreviate and shorten things as much as you want. So really what this second bullet point says here is that you need to revisit your notes multiple times. Remember our stuff from last week when you watched the curve of forgetting. If we take notes and we never look at them again, what is the point? We are going to lose all of that information very quickly. So in order to help us retain and truly learn the information, we want to make sure that we are revisiting our notes multiple times in a variety of ways. I am going to move on in about 10 seconds. All right, so for your next question in the questions section, I might ask something like, what is phase 1 of the FNT process? And here is your answer. Under the notes section, the stuff in highlights is what I would strongly urge you to write down. The stuff not in highlights, it's up to you. But I want you to make sure that you know that when you take notes, no matter what format, you need to establish a purpose and objective. You need to know why you are taking these notes. That will come in the form of an essential question, which is what we wrote at the very top of our Cornell Notes today. The second step of this is to select the best format for your notes. We are going to talk about very shortly, we are going to talk about on the next slide some different formats for note taking.